In the events of this new decade, we have seen clearly the racism that plagues our country and our church. The Book of Order of the Presbyterian Church USA proclaims that we, the church body, are to demonstrate the kingdom of heaven to the world. The board is accompanying the denomination in its Matthew 25 initiative, and we are committed to identifying the effects of structural racism throughout our agency and then eliminating them. Our focus is on 5 key areas: our board of directors, our staff and employment practices, our selection and management of business partners, our benefits and programs, our service to communities of color.
The Board of Directors Task Force on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is studying the agency's policies and operations. In this work, we are asking ourselves many questions. Is the full spectrum of potential plan members aware of the opportunities the Board of Pensions provides? Could we make changes to the assistance program that would further support diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout the church? Does the Board of Pensions have the necessary demographic data to ensure that we provide programs and benefits equitably? We're also considering our external relationships. Are we doing all we can to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion through engagement with our business partners? Finally, how does the Board of Pensions measure up against denominational benchmarks for diversity, equity, and inclusion in its hiring and promotions? We are committed to answering all of these questions so that the Board of Pensions practices might stand as a public witness to the Lordship of Christ Jesus.
Our workforce reflects the diversity of the greater Philadelphia community, and we exceed the diversity goals of the General Assembly. But we want more diversity at the officer level of our agency. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Leadership Council is supporting the board in attracting, developing, and retaining a high-performing workforce, and one that is representative of the communities we serve. The Board of Pensions wants to be an employer of choice. We can get there by institutionalizing a culture of inclusion. A culture of inclusion means that every employee at the board has the support needed to achieve their full potential, and that they feel a sense of belonging as we carry out our mission.
Our business partners fall into 2 broad categories. There are the national and public companies. We rely on their expertise to help us manage the large volume of funds and data involved in agency business. And then there's the smaller category of local suppliers and service contracts. We review the DEI practices of our national business partners and make them aware of PCUSA values. We provide the denominational prohibited securities list to our investment managers. For the local and regional firms, we require bids on any contract of $50,000 or more. 20% of what we spend with those firms go to minority and women-owned businesses. Now, that is a greater percentage than what the General Assembly asks the church to do. Still, we believe that we can increase what we spend on minority and women-owned businesses. We should do so, and we will.
In our role as the underwriter for our medical plan and pension, we have not traditionally collected the race and ethnic data of our members. That has kept us from analyzing how different groups are using our benefits and programs. We've been unable to see where there may be inequities. So our board of directors is considering changing the way we collect data on members. When we are able to see inequity, we act. In 2013, we added same gender partner benefits. Later, we learned that the same gender partners of members who died before 2013 were not receiving a survivor's pension. We created the Marriage Equality Grant to fix that injustice. when we learned of traditional African American congregations that were struggling to hire full-time ministers, we increased the congregational size limit for participating in Pathways to Renewal. When we saw the devastation visited on Puerto Rico by natural and economic disasters, we cut benefits dues in half. We have blind spots, but we are determined to find inequities in our program structure and service delivery and improve how we serve each and every day.
Our educational opportunities and wellness events reach our members in many ways. We provide financial literacy training and help with retirement planning, both virtually and in person. But even though these programs support thousands of people each year, some constituencies are not being served as well as others. Working with the National Black Presbyterian Caucus, we adapted our policies to the leadership structures of over 400 traditional African American congregations. We collaborated with Johnson C. Smith Theological Seminary to host the first African American Credo Conference. We have converted our Healthy Pastors, Healthy Congregations curriculum into culturally and linguistically appropriate forms, and now deliver the seminars in Spanish and Korean. We are committed to ongoing collaborative work with the church to ensure that our resources are available to all plan members and potential plan members, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, and sexual identity.
The Board of Pensions is the oldest of the national agencies of the Presbyterian Church USA. Many of the core assumptions that underlie our structures are based on the belief that ministers are white, male, married to women, have children, and operate in a decidedly Eurocentric context. Obviously, that is no longer true. Today, our board of directors is the most diverse it has ever been, but white men remain represented most prominently. We exceed the General Assembly diversity goals for employment, but we are not satisfied with the diversity of our leadership. We seek out diverse business partners, yes, but we can do better. This is an area where we can directly eliminate effects of structural racism. We continue to find new ways to serve members and congregations who have been underserved in the past, but we need more data to truly understand differential outcomes. And although we have engaged with communities of color throughout the church, we can deepen that engagement and move toward more meaningful collaboration. Last year, we received the National Association of Corporate Directors NXT Award, recognizing organizations that have demonstrated outstanding commitment to the DEI process. While we appreciate the honor, we know so much more must be done to reach true justice, equity, and inclusion. Our agency is actively working to bring about that change. In this pursuit, we will demonstrate the kingdom of heaven to the world.